It's football and other F words, and that was a flawless intro by Mojo Rojo, the producer behind the glass. I mean, that may be actually have been the most flawless intro we've had since coming over to 104.5 The Zone.
That's fucking right.
Is your microphone even on? I don't know. Flawless intro, microphone not on.
Hello.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you must
Come on,
have,
Stoney, you gotta turn it on, man.
Yeah.
I think you handed it to me on, and I turned it off.
Oh, well, the good news is that the biggest announcement to shake the Nashville local media landscape was made today.
It was.
Sent shockwaves, ripples through everything, changing the actual course of history of the way fans will consume Titans football for forever. And, of course, we're talking about you. Finally, we get to announce you joining Titans Talk Back every Sunday after the game, me hosting. For whatever reason, they decide, hey, we want you to host more shows. And then Kevin Dyson.
Yeah.
And then you, who will be breaking down Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon film for 3 hours off 15 preseason snaps.
How long before Kevin Dyson has us thrown out of the studio?
It's either that or he'll ask to be transferred to the pregame show. But yeah, I mean, it is awesome. It is well deserved on your end.
Thanks, man.
Speaking of flawless intros, I'm about to have to change my battery pack on this. So
Dang,
we
already?
are just already. Let me say something. Once again, I would like to throw whoever was in here before us. Podcast studio etiquette. I mean, can we turn off the mic packs and the microphones? Can you quit stealing batteries for other stuff in the studio? Because I hid those batteries that are just now
Somebody. Well, who knew about the hidden batteries?
Well, if you just open up these doors, it wasn't like they were a prime hidden spot or anything.
I thought we had a bona fide mystery on our hands.
No,
We
but I'm
needed to
just
figure it out.
saying. I'm just saying. Thank you, Joseph.
Joseph in the house. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide. He's a Bama fan too.
Oh, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
I thought that was the purpose of his tweet. He tweeted at me.
Yeah,
earlier.
slowly infiltrating. The
yeah.
plan is coming together. We just need to find more Alabama fan friends.
Yeah, we do. Well, they're out there.
I mean, I don't know them.
I don't.
I mean, except for my friends in Alabama.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, I got one in Memphis, so maybe we could bring him over. Robert, we could bring him over.
I think I don't know if I have any Alabama fan friends. I think I'm on an island. It's just my family.
Just your family on
Bring
an island like that shirt.
We can bring in my uncles and my cousins.
Yeah. We can really make it an Alabama affair by bringing in your uncles and cousins.
Yeah. Oh, well, we don't got this couch for nothing.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But yes, well deserved on your end.
Thank you.
Very well kept and long secret.
Yeah, there were some people that were starting to figure it out. I was getting DMs that were like, "We know what's going on," and I was just like, "I can't say anything."
Yeah,
but that's just because football and other F words listeners are the smartest listeners in the planet.
If you notice this, Joseph congratulated you just now.
Yeah.
I know we just bragged on Mojo Rojo, but he has yet to congratulate
I think
you
he
on air.
congratulated me when
on air.
Congratulations to my goat, Stoney Keeley.
There it is.
Thank you, Mojo.
There,
Rojo.
there's two commercials on 104.5 The Zone that I'm fairly certain that Mojo Rojo voices.
1-800-GOT-JUNK?
No, it's not that one. It's definitely not that one. That one is, I cannot believe that got past all the censors on that. It's the Arby's one. Was it Arby's or Hardee's? I can't remember. There's a new one that's circulating about someone getting surgery done or something, and it sounds a lot like Ross.
I haven't heard that, but I think it is Arby's, not Hardee's.
Yeah, Arby's. There you go.
I've yet to receive a single penny for those.
Are we sure it's a commercial and Ross isn't just like taking over the airwaves because he loves Arby's so much?
Maybe.
Like the people have to know.
He loves the meat.
That big Montana.
Well, and what was released today, like some kind of magnified, like dinosaur nuggets or something? Was that real? Is that fake?
Grilled gorilla nuts.
Yeah, grilled gorilla nugs. Is that real by Arby's?
I don't know. I thought it was just a meme that JT shared with us, but maybe it's real. I don't know. I mean, Arby's does have the meats.
I can't tell because of course, the first thing I guess comes up is Arby's introduces new steak nuggets for testing. They're called grilled gorilla nuggets.
Oh, so
they're steak nuggets. They're not made out of gorilla.
Maybe I just read it wrong.
I think gorilla means that they're massive in size.
I thought it meant gorilla nuts. That's what I read, and I've been going this whole day thinking, oh, that was a really good meme, gorilla nuts.
Yeah, no, I think it may be true. Grilled gorilla. Here I have it. Giant. They're called grilled gorilla nuts. Well, they are called nuts. I don't know.
Great.
We're gonna have to really get into this.
We're gonna have to pin that down.
We're gonna have to figure that out. We're gonna get some investigative journalism going.
The Vic Fangio defense and whether or not Arby's is selling gorilla testicles.
Yeah, Knocktrop says they are called gorilla nuts. So
man, that's crazy.
What a crazy, and it will work if they're good.
Yeah,
like people will go order gorilla nuts like crazy.
I might go try them and record myself eating them.
There you go.
Mukbang.
Yes.
All right. Let's real quick before we get into all the juicy NFL stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic Four.
I liked it. I liked it quite a bit.
Did you like it better than Superman?
No.
I felt very rarely does this happen to me. It's really only happened with a rewatch of Independence Day and the latest Flash movie that was just so god awful terrible. It's one of the worst movies ever made. Is that and maybe Madam Web in a few spots. Like there were a few spots where the CGI was just god awful terrible.
I'm not usually the guy that complains about CGI because
I'm not either.
If you can suspend disbelief enough to watch a Fantastic Four movie, surely some bad CGI isn't going to be a detriment too much. But there were times that I noticed it and I was like, oh, this is kind of, and I'm thinking about it and I need to be immersed in the story and you pulled me out of it.
Yeah.
And now I'm a little unhappy about it.
I think by now, I think it's safe to say that most people know that there's a baby involved. Yeah. And I would say it was an odd choice to have the one CGI character hold the CGI baby.
Yeah, that's and going back to
what are we doing here? Like that's an easy. Just give it to Johnny. Yeah. Like why does Ben have to be the one holding it?
And going back to the Flash, maybe we should just stop CGIing babies.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just stop CGIing babies.
Because there obviously this was modeled after a real baby because it looked like a real baby in other scenes.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, well, since we're already CGIing the thing, let's just put the baby holding the thing. And I'm like, that looks terrible.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I wanted more Galactus too.
Justice for real babies.
Justice for real babies. I wanted more Galactus, man.
Yeah, he needed a little bit more of like a Thanos presence. When you got Ralph Ineson with a killer accent and aura, and Galactus looks incredible, we need some more killer lines.
I really liked the casting of the Human Torch and the Thing.
Yeah,
I loved Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, and Pedro's fine. I'm not gonna bitch too much about that. The one aspect where
there's plenty of people that bitched at his casting.
Yes.
Don't lump yourself in with them.
The issues I had were I just there was something, and I don't know if it was a chemistry thing, if it was a spark thing, or what. For the most part, it's fine, but when it was time to be like husband and wife, there was something that just felt phony about the two of them together. I never bought them as like intimate husband and wife.
That's I think on purpose because that is kind of their deal. So in the comics, what I loved most about, I think, the way that they portrayed Reed Richards is that they portrayed him as, I'm thinking of everything and I'm not thinking of those closest to me, right? And like that's what he is in the comics. He's always like getting bitched at by his nagging wife and ball and chain. Oh, you you should have fed the kids, but blah 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 blah. And it's not really what it is. But like he's very like closed off to human connection.
Yeah,
which is funny, and I think kind of an antithesis to what his powers are. Like you stretch out and bring people together, but you can also stretch yourself out too thin. And I do think that they did that part right, but I get what you're saying. But I also think that leaves stuff open for, her Namer is always trying to like, fuck her. And like he's always trying to make her queen and stuff. And then they're kind of hoping for Malice.
I didn't know what you were about to say.
But they're kind of hoping for Malice too, and maybe which is a evil persona version of like a split personality. Just so I think that one's dissociative identity disorder.
Mm-hmm.
So like that kind of like lays that seed. That's also giving them a lot of credit for actually being that smart and laying those seeds, but we'll see.
Yeah, but there were moments in the movie where they were kind of tender with one another. And I just feel like for that movie, and you kind of hinted at it just now, but like we would be assuming that these are like masterfully crafted stories. And it's not really what we've seen a lot of from Marvel in recent years. So for me, it was just kind of like, this is kind of, I don't know. I'm right at the edge and I want to jump in, but I'm just not ready to yet. I still really liked it. And I wrote about it. No, I didn't actually. Sorry. I wrote about it for our movie book that'll be out at the end of the year, but it's not actually published on the Substack. But I really like drawing the parallel from Fantastic Four to Iron Man.
I think that's what it feels like.
It was like they really focused on a singular story and a singular set of characters. And it felt like the start of something new where you really didn't have to watch any other Marvel movie if you didn't want to. You could pick up right here and go. And I thought that was a really smart and effective strategy to kind of clearly delineate fresh start for this whole thing moving forward.
Well, it's also good because there was a lot of talk that maybe that Earth dies and gets wiped out, and that's why they're over in the MCU main, the 616. What's even more interesting is they had no inclination of what that rocket. Well, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Thunderbolts.
Oh yeah.
So hold on, spoiler alert. I'm going to give you 30 seconds, or give you a couple seconds to pause.
Sit in silence.
But they never even
seconds.
Explained the end credit scene, I guess just say. So they didn't even tie you to it.
Yeah.
And I feel like Thunderbolts is a little bit more standalone. It feels like it was tying up loose ends of other things.
Yep.
And kind of a standalone story. I mean, you didn't have any big cameos or anything that really mattered. So they're kind of standalone, but they're closing off stuff.
Yeah.
Tying up those loose ends, and this is, again, I agree with you. It felt very Iron Man-y in that way.
Yeah, I think they're on a roll right now. I don't know if you watched Ironheart, but I enjoyed it quite a bit too. And really, the main villain in it was just kind of like, oh, buddy, we've been waiting for this for a long time, and that was a really good payoff. So I think they got something going. I think it was smart of them to dial back the number of movies that we're getting every year.
And they're going to go younger, I've heard. They're not going to go big blockbuster anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said that the days, I think, effectively because of how the studios are done now, and specifically with superhero movies, probably fatigue, is that the days of the $1 billion movie are over when you're talking about global stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think they're going to start focusing on younger characters. And look at this. We're just like, hey, Fantastic Four starts with 2 Fs and football and other F words.
It is an F word, yeah.
But I think that they're going to start casting unknowns to be cheaper in their production.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Do we even want to talk about the Titans tonight? Has anything happened this week? I don't know.
There's a lot to happen. Okay, so real quick, Terry McLaurin has requested a trade.
Yeah.
The Tennessee Titans should be all over it. I know that doesn't fit. I know this doesn't fit this idea of patience and everything. But in a world where you're in the NFL where you may have to pivot and may have the opportunity to pivot, I'm not saying I would trade 2 firsts and this and that, but if you can work out something where you could take on the majority of the contract and give him an extension and give up less of a draft capital, right? Because, sometimes, the other team will pay, but you have to give them a higher draft capital.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can take on the full contract what they can, I'd be all about it.
Absolutely. I mean, if everything goes according to plan, you look at the boxes they were able to check this offseason, quarterback, and theoretically, obviously they haven't played a down of football together, quarterback, left tackle, you retooled your offensive line. What's left on the shopping list? Like, I think you still need another really good proven wide receiver, and I think you need an edge rusher. If you have an opportunity to get one of those pieces, you're going to need one down the road anyway. Why not go ahead when you have the opportunity to do so? The thing that they're obviously going to have to figure out, though, is he all ball all day?
Yeah, that's true. I think he is. I mean, you don't go through what you did with Washington and still get 1,000 yards almost every year and not be all ball all day.
Sorry, I was trying to fight back a burp.
That's what I figured.
I just abruptly ended my statement. But.
I mean, I get, Ed Henry says I would pass, draft, and develop. I get that sentiment for sure, but the most important piece to develop is your young quarterback, and your development for this young quarterback would get accelerated tenfold.
Who is the best wide receiver in the upcoming draft class? This
I don't know if there's one out there because Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith are the draft class after this one.
I was about to say they're a couple of years down the road.
I don't think there's a real definitive answer. People like Nick Harbor, who's only had 300 yards in his life.
There's the
I don't get that one.
The kid from Arizona State that people have been hyping up. I haven't gotten into.
I'm sure there's a guy probably at Ohio State somewhere.
But Carnell Tate is there.
But he's not that dude.
My point is, Terry McLaurin is a proven number one wide receiver in the NFL.
What's better who's the most important player to develop? It's Cam Ward.
Yes.
What's great for Cam Ward? To have Calvin Ridley and Terry McLaurin.
Yes. End of discussion, really.
I mean, that's it. I mean, that's all there is. I mean.
And it gives you a little leeway if some of these other pieces you think you've addressed.
And listen, this is a fucking pipe dream.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we're not – the Tennessee Titans are not trained for Terry McLaurin. And I said the same thing about Julio Jones, and they ended up doing it. So I'm kind of hoping that same magic works.
Oh, boy.
Except for I hope that Terry McLaurin is way better than Julio Jones was. But, again, draft and develop. Okay, you drafted your franchise quarterback – I get the idea. And listen, I think Chimere DK, since the pads have come on, has looked really good.
Rookie of the year.
Well, Cam Ward will be Rookie of the year.
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
Chimere DK, if Chimere DK is Rookie of the year, I mean, there's only because Cam Ward.
Well, it could be Brandon Allen. Okay, seriously.
Okay, yeah. No more fucking jokes.
Don't you put that out there.
Yeah. But to me, it's and again, we're talking about a pipe dream.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the whole point of draft and develop is to also make sure that your quarterback is good and developed, and he helps. He just went through it with Jaden Daniels. He can actually probably even give even more pointers and stuff on that. So that's just me. And I get it. It's not going to happen, and why waste time talking about it? But I do think when you have a quarterback under a rookie contract, this idea that, well, we can't go spend this or we can't do that or this doesn't fit our timeline. I'm more open to this discussion because I think that at the end of the day, you want what's best for your team, and you as a general manager, you as a coach, or you as a owner have to be willing to pivot during these pivotal times.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I agree. And the point I was trying to make a second ago was right now you look at the shopping list that they're going to need next offseason. It's likely a wide receiver, likely an edge rusher, but that's under the assumption that every move they made this past offseason is going to be a home run. But
yeah, I mean, Elikai Manor and Chimere DK both hitting and turning into your wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3 of the future, very slim. Because it can maybe happen, but man, I could not remember maybe the last time 2 wide receivers got drafted in the same round and both turned into something.
It would be
on the same team.
For sure, yeah. But right now you're looking at it, you're like, well, we don't need a left tackle, but we need a wide receiver. Well, if Dan Moore Jr. doesn't pan out, the next offseason, you still need the wide receiver, but now you also need a left tackle.
And really, you need an edge rusher.
And you need an edge rusher.
That's number one.
Yeah. But my point is, like, if you can
they need
go
like
ahead
3 edge rushers
and
next
take
year.
care of that one need, you won't need it down the road, and you have a little bit of flexibility in case one of your signings doesn't work out.
You want to hear some big news, just real quick?
Big news.
Big news.
More big news?
Slay's in the chat.
Slay's in the chat. Oh,
Yep.
shit.
Ron Slay's in the chat. He's like, I need a cigar listening to this kind of stuff.
Yeah, we're trying to hash it out on 3HL in their chat. Like, if we need Slay on football and other F words.
Yeah.
But he said if we can do it in the parking lot while he smokes, and I was like,
yeah.
I'll bring my pipe in.
Yeah. There you go. We could do that. That's no big deal. We can figure it out.
Tobacco pipe, to be clear. Tobacco
bring some
pipe.
lawn chairs.
Yeah, bring some lawn chairs.
Yeah, we'll make that happen.
Yeah, we'll do that. Maybe when it's a little, colder outside.
Oh,
I'm a sweater.
We did it right now. They'd be cleaning up puddles out of that parking lot.
Yep.
That's what they typically do, clean the puddles up.
Yeah, they do. They don't ever let the puddles dry out. They send someone out there with a mop and clean them.
Off the rails tonight.
So, yeah, that's just my take on Terry McLaurin. Like, I get it for everybody, but,
cool
and I get that, he takes snaps away from Elikai Manor, Chimere DK, and their development. I'm like, well, they're not starting, so...
I mean...
you know what I'm saying? Like, again, Van Jefferson
at.
and Tyler Lockett are starting, and so if you're taking away Van Jefferson snaps and maybe he's off somewhere else...
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, it's very fantasy football, general manager kind of stuff we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to focus on the whole thing of just if someone becomes available via trade, don't rule out drafting for him or trading for him just because it doesn't fit the perceived timeline. Don't be so hard on the timeline.
Well, and we still got to figure out if he loves ball. We got to put him through Chad Brinker's algorithm.
Yeah, put him in the algorithm. Drop him in.
We got to figure it out.
Clickety-clack on the keyboard.
Yeah, see what it spits out.
Yeah, there you go.
If he comes here, he really loves ball. I'll just put it like that.
I have to say, speaking of Slay, he called this the land of opportunity, Tennessee, because just think outside of quarterback, anybody could come get a job here.
It's so true. It's so true, though. That was such a good take.
It was. Okay. You said you have a lot of things you want to get to.
Well, I've got a page of notes that I really wanted to. We got to try and
you fluffed it up before the show. You're like, I got a lot of things I want to get to.
Well, let me see. Hang on. Let me do some quick math here. I got like 12 items on this paper.
Well, then let's get started.
First of all, I want to make sure we are going to get people home in time for the Hall of Fame game, right? We don't want anybody missing that.
Well,
right?
You know what? I think it's bullshit that there's no anytime touchdown.
Can we turn this TV on, actually?
No, please don't. We don't know if it'll break anything. Jackson tried turning it on one time, and it was a disaster.
Yeah.
You want to watch DJ Uyuglele during the pod?
Yes, I would love to.
But
DJU.
no anytime touchdowns is a little ridiculous for the preseason because I would be putting some money in some Isaac Tesla anytime touchdown tonight.
Yeah, you and me both. And the DJU interception, are you kidding me?
Yeah, oh, man.
That's
2+
money.
interceptions.
Easy money right there.
Okay. What you got?
So I don't know where. Okay, here's what I really want to get into.
Okay.
Because there were a couple of nuggets this week that.
Some gorilla nuts, as Arby's would put it.
There were some gorilla nuts this week that I thought were really fascinating. You and Blaine talked about the no-huddle stuff either
today.
Was it today?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. My week's been a blur. Can you run through the numbers again of
shit?
Okay, I put you on the spot. That's my fault. The reason that I bring up the no-huddle stuff and the tempo stuff is because that is another layer of this offensive situation where when we say, I think we have a tendency to just be like, well, better protection, more stable quarterback play will have an exponential impact on the offense. And I think the no-huddle stuff that we can get into a little bit is one of those layers that kind of supports that claim where we can get into the weed and not get into the weeds, not the singular weed. I mean, y'all can get into your weed if you want to, no judgment here. But where we can point to this area and say, okay, this is another thing that could improve exponentially.
It's also another thing that we could bash Brian Callahan about.
Well, perhaps.
Sometimes I feel like, it always ends with, and here's another way that didn't help Will Levis.
Yeah. So And we'll keep that thought in mind. I don't want to escape that. But when we say like there can be real improvement, real quick turnaround for this offense, I think the no huddle stuff is one thing that could help them if they can run more no huddle tempo stuff with Cam Ward. But when you think about no huddle, like why is that effective? It keeps defenses on the field. They can't sub out personnel groupings. You're moving quick. You're kind of wearing them down. You're taking advantage of them, their hands on their hips, that sort of thing. It can be a really good tool for your offense, and they didn't run it a lot with Will Levis and Mason Rudolph.
No, in fact, they ran it 10.7% combined.
So,
which is let's put it this way. Let's start it with here. Is that in no huddle, for every quarterback that at least completed 200 passes, or at least attempted 200 passes in no huddle, the NFL average, those NFL quarterbacks averaged 13.5% no huddle rate.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph was above that at 16.7%, which is actually the 8th most out of any quarterbacks with at least 200 dropbacks. Unfortunately, Will Levis was 6.3%.
Yeah.
Now, his EPA, when they huddled, which is the majority of the time, was negative 0.251. Okay, so his EPA was actually by far, besides Spencer Rattler, was by far the worst. Okay. He's there with Spencer Rattler, Anthony Richardson, and Jameis Winston.
Okay.
Not great.
No, that's not good company, no.
And when he was doing no huddle, still wasn't good. Negative 0.099, still in the negatives because he was terrible last year. But again, you only did it 6.3% of the time. Why not increase that to maximize the efficiency?
So I jotted down, this is one thing, like from the quarterback perspective, to effectively run no huddle, like what do you need? Your quarterback has to have a deep understanding of the playbook. They have to be able to recognize the defensive alignment in real time and be able to understand how to attack it. They have to know which plays to call because they're effectively the play caller on the field moving quickly like that. They have to communicate it effectively, get the offensive line, the receivers, whoever, all on page.
I mean, really, after the first bullet point, we already know Levis can't do no huddle.
And so you have to be able to process quickly.
Yeah.
And that is another thing. When you guys were talking about it, it was a light bulb going off in my head listening to the show thinking, holy shit, like that is something I didn't even think about. They didn't run a lot of no huddle with Will Levis. And to go back to your question about Brian Callahan, I think the question I would ask him is, like, did you just not do it because you didn't want to, because it wasn't a part of the game plan, or did you not do it because your quarterback did not have the skills it took to run
What's
it?
the way we can ask that we need to brainstorm the way we can ask that without having to throw Will Levis under the bus, without Brian Callahan basically having to say, well, Will Levis is a nincompoop.
Could you that's interesting. We'll have to workshop that.
But to go to Cam Ward in Miami, he ran no huddle at a 14.1% rate.
Yes.
So still not a high rate compared to a lot of offenses in college. He wasn't a big in these easy buttons. But to be honest, his no huddle EPA was way higher, and it's the only one out of all these easy button plays, your RPOs, your motions, your play action, and your screen plays, and your no huddle offense. It's the only one where he was better in no huddle than he was in the huddle.
So
0.487 compared to 0.249. So you positive either way.
You go back to this no huddle talk. If they can run more no huddle, push tempo more, because Cam Ward is a better processor, makes quicker, better decisions. From what I've heard, a strength of his, he sees the field well. Deep understanding of the playbook. If he's equipped with these, you can run that with him, and it's another feather in your cap on offense. And that's another thing that, with the better protection, with the more stable quarterback play, you should see it unlock the offense a little bit. And all these things combine to something we talked about last week, this idea that they can hit more explosives. That's their path to a quick turnaround if we're going to see it here on offense.
I will say in I'm trying to get my days right. Today's Thursday. So
Yeah.
in Tuesday's practice, the media kind of noticed he was holding the ball a little too long. And it was not a great practice.
Yeah.
In Wednesday's practice, they started spreading. I'm trying not to give away too much where I could get in trouble.
Yeah, we don't want that.
So
we don't want you to get spanked now.
were spreading things out to where maybe Cam Ward felt really lonely behind in his shotgun formation.
Yeah,
He felt real
okay.
lonely, but they spread it out. Maybe with some running backs in the slot, or maybe our guy. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't really paying attention. But
Of course.
when the ball was snapped, ball was to where it needed to go. And it was a tempo thing, and it was very no-huddle-y.
Okay.
And what you're saying is about he knew exactly where the ball to go, and everything was a completion. He started off really crisp. And that, to your point, is something they likely need to lean into because he can execute it.
Yeah.
Read off those things you have to do as a quarterback to execute it.
Deep understanding of the playbook.
Okay, so Will Levis can't do that.
Can recognize the defense.
Yeah, he definitely can't do that.
Know which plays to call.
Yeah, probably not.
Communicate them effectively.
Debatable.
Process quickly.
Yeah, we know that. So, So, Cam Ward, I have confidence from what I've seen on the Miami film, what I've seen in practice so far, Cam Ward can do all those things.
So that's what I brought to the show tonight to say, hey, you guys touched on this little nugget. You guys touched on this little gorilla nut during your show today. But I think there's
Arby's is just a gold mine of stuff.
I know, man. And you know what?
I'll have a beef and cheddar and order of gorilla nuts.
I'll take the beef and cheddar and the gorilla nuts. I don't even remember what I was going to say. Oh, I think it's one of those things that I think people we've talked about in passing, but I think it's worth slowing down and saying, well, wait a second. This no-huddle thing could actually be another element of this offense that, if it starts clicking, could help it turn around more quickly.
What do you got next?
Similar vein, you had a clip on Twitter this week of Chigakonkwo talking about something, and he mentioned something about pre-snap mistakes in there. And
I think that was in the very long clip.
It was in the long clip, and he just said it in passing, but my ears perked up when I heard it, because a criticism that I've had of this offense and Brian Callahan is that, yes, there's a ton of smoke and mirrors. I love it when it works. Man, this thing fucks. It is awesome. These 3x2 formations with, the offensive linemen pulling, they're running pin and pull, sending Chig in from a bunch formation to hammer the edge and loop J.C. Latham out. And they're doing all this stuff where, it looks like a run, but it's a pass, and it looks like a pass, but it's a run. All that stuff is well and good, but if you can't operate it, that's when you see things like penalties happen. Or if it's convoluted and you have all of these moving parts, if just one person fucks up on a play, then the next thing you know, the whole thing's blown up. And so that was something that I've been critical of this offense of in the past, is that, well, should you dial some of that stuff back and just do more simple stuff, which is an interesting philosophical discussion. If you know the scheme works, why would you change it? Why would you not just get the repetition until everybody gets it? But I was thinking, in these layers of the onion to the offensive turnaround, is another thing is well, if they can run more no huddle, then the offense, that's another thing that helps the offense. If they can clean up these pre-snap mistakes that lead to penalties and stuff, or just guys in the wrong spot, when you put 5 receivers out wide, there's only a certain amount of them that can actually be on the line of scrimmage. Some of them have to be off. Some of the formations, the play is the same, but the formation's different. They have 3 on one side, 2 on the other, and then they swap if they're going to run the play in different directions. So, if you can clean some of that stuff up, then it should amount to smoother operation, fewer penalties. And then when you think about guys like Chigakonkwo, it's another year in this system. Calvin Ridley, it's another year in this system for him. That's another thing that I think could support this idea that they're not as far away from an offensive turnaround as we think.
So when it comes to pre-snap penalties, what we have seen in the offseason so far. So remember they had the 8-team competition for a mini camp and OTAs and all that kind of stuff. And now part of it was to help with penalties, with help with mental mistakes. And we have seen maybe 3 penalties since the referees got there.
I'm just saying,
one of them was a defensive pass interference. I can't remember what the one of them was a false start, and there was a false start. I don't think they had referees out at the stadium, but there was a false start at the stadium in the silent count thing. But that was the only one I remember seeing. Yeah. So the penalties compared to what we've saw the last few off seasons, even dating back to Vrabel, because people need to remember that Vrabel was one of the most heavily penalized coaches in that team the last 2 years before he got fired. And last year, obviously, but you remember, how we always get camp tweets, another false start. Can't believe there's another false start, or there's this, there's that, there's this, all these penalties, right? TD would put out those threads, and you'd see, penalty 13 times. You'd see PK harping on it constantly. I'm not sure we have seen one tweet. I don't think I've seen one tweet about a penalty that was so egregious or so mind-numbingly dumb that it required a tweet.
Yeah. And I mean, just even the penalty aspect of it is one thing, but just the operation of it is another. And I'm going to switch to the defensive side of the ball for an example, because I think it was Greg Cosell on 3HL yesterday that was talking about Jarvis Brownlee. And Brownlee was telling him, last year my head was all over the place, but this year I understand the scheme better, and now I can focus on formations and recognition and stuff like that. And so that type of growth happens for players.
That was actually, I think, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. talking to Brent Doherty. Yeah,
okay.
they did an interview, and I think that was in that.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so
I think them and Cosell talked about, but I think that's what that was.
Right show, wrong person.
Yeah.
But it was on 3HL, and it was Jarvis Brownlee Jr. I know that much.
Yeah.
But the same type of thing happens for a lot of the players. I mean, if they're worth a shit, they're going to get better. But I do think there's something to be said for the fact that this is another year running what Bill Callahan wants to run as far as the run game coordinating goes. And I do think the passing concepts are the same. There's not a lot of we've heard Brian Callahan say that not much is going to change about the scheme in 2025. So that process of getting comfortable and more familiar with the scheme it stands to reason, should happen for some of the offensive players as well. And that's not just Chigakonkwo. I mean, his name keeps coming up because he was the clip that inspired this whole spiel. But, guys like Calvin Ridley, even the offensive linemen.
Yeah, I was about to say Skoronski.
Latham.
Yeah, J.C. Latham.
It's I just, this is where I look at it and I think, okay, they may not be good in 2025, but big picture, long-term stuff, this scheme can work if the players get to that point.
Let's take a minute for an ad break if you want.
An ad break?
Yeah, I'm just kidding. We don't have any ads.
Are we talking about Gorilla Nuts again?
Here's all I want to say. If you own a business that's looking to advertise, hey, Football and Other F Words could use a sponsor.
We could, yeah.
I mean, we are some whores.
Why? Listen,
I don't care what you got to advertise. We'll probably advertise it. Are you a garbage truck company? I don't know. We'll do it.
No free ads, but I have posted pictures of me literally in my underwear.
Yeah.
To promote a brand before. So
there you go.
I'll lay it all out there.
Do you have anything concerning this energy topic?
I do not, actually.
Okay, because I want to hit on that because Wreck-It Ralph is in the Twitter, and this is something that we kind of talked about today on Cover 2, but, I know not everybody can listen to Cover 2 by the time they've listened to Football and Other F Words. And he goes, with the recent talk of no team energy at practice, could it be that Callahan turns out to be a genius play caller, but an uninspiring head coach? It keeps me up at night. Please don't let that keep you up at night. Yeah. It keeps me up at night. Because that would be our luck. You could potentially put him and Vrabel together and have the best head coach ever and the worst ever. And here's what I would say. It took me a while to really pin down this energy level conversation because we as a media and probably as the fans that were in attendance to all this, besides the stadium thing, it felt weird.
Yeah.
And it took a while. And yesterday I was kind of hashing this out with Blaine on yesterday's show. And I kind of leaned into a point, but I didn't really give it the time that I needed to give it to really flesh out. And after yesterday, I just kept thinking about it. And the more I hear other athletes talk, the more I've heard other analysts talk, the more I've heard Blaine talk too. Blaine said this today. He goes, critiquing the energy level is just kind of weird. It's not even worth it. And because when you watch it, there is a sense of urgency. There is no lack of urgency. There's no lack of effort. So those are two things that you would be looking for as signs of, oh, crap, like this could be something. And I think what it boils down to, and I've kind of tossed this out there a few places, kind of gotten the same thing, is that they told us they were looking for guys that care about football, not just on Sundays, but Mondays through Saturdays.
All ball, all day.
All ball, all day. That's what they talked to it. That's the big thing. And I think what they've gotten is a bunch of guys who clock in, go to work, clock out, go to work. I mean, I think they're focused. I think they're focused. I think they're driven. And I think maybe they could be considered hyper-focused. But I think they are making sure that they are doing their job to the best of their ability, and the celebrations will come when the celebrations matter, like in the regular season. Because what good is dancing around and celebrating and bopping up and down when you are coming from a losing season like you have the last 3 years? Like, what good was that energy the last 3 years?
I was going to say the same thing. A couple things I would point out. The energy felt pretty good last year, and look how that turned out. Like, I don't.
This is a more focused, and if you listen to Chig talk, and if you listen to Jeffrey Simmons talk lately, it's a more mature group.
It sounds like it for sure.
And I think that with that maturity comes, we got to earn the celebrations. And so I don't think there is a concern over a lack of energy. Now, if you get into the camps with Tampa Bay and Atlanta, and there's not a lot of fight to them, then maybe we can say there's an energy issue. But, I mean, it seems to me they got a bunch of guys that aren't riding the highs and lows of camp, and I think that's translating onto these practice fields where they're like, lunch pail guys, blue collar, get to work, we'll worry about the rest later.
Yeah, I feel weird commenting on it because I haven't been to practice because I got to clock into my fucking day job.
Yeah, but it was weird. I understand why everybody would misconstrue or have that perception that it's low energy, but it's really not, I don't think.
I would also add, as far as Brian Callahan goes, I think we've kind of picked up on this idea since last season ended that the way he presents himself to the media is very different from the way that he presents himself to his team.
Yeah.
And I would ask
Jackson Slater even told us.
Go back and watch the Jackson Slater interview, and the smile that crept over his face when we asked him, like, is he
a pushover or something like that?
Yeah. I think the intensity from the head coach is fine in practice, and I don't think it mirrors what we see from the press conferences. What did Jackson say that was so funny? Just like, kudos to him for presenting himself that way.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Props to him for
presenting him that way, because it's so different from where he is on the practice field.
Yeah.
So I would be careful about the perception that he's just a mild-mannered, quiet, timid little old head coach.
I would just be very cautious I'd be very cautious just to assume that I can see why low energy is the perception, but sometimes these thoughts need to be fleshed out in proper conversations.
Yeah.
And not just put out there and then the wording changes and it takes a life of its own. Because I had it written down in my notes from the first practice I went to, and I was like, energy? ? And then I talked to Blaine after that first practice, and he goes, I don't know. What do you mean by that? And we're hashing it out off air.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decide after a couple of practices to bring it on air because I haven't came to a conclusion of what it could be. Because I know it's not effort, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lack of effort. There's not a lack of urgency. People are not being lackadaisical after they make a mistake. They're not being lazy and not jogging or running to the next thing. Like, there is none of that. So I know it took me a while to nail it down, but I think this is just how a blue-collar team works, and I think they're a blue-collar team.
Just head down, nose to the grindstone kind of deal. Also, I have another question. When did we add an S to lackadaisical? Because I've heard several people.
Is it not lackadaisical?
This is not lackadaisical.
Is it lackadaisical?
Lackadaisical.
Oh, I don't like that. I like mine better.
Okay, well, keep using. By all means. Don't let me stop
Okay,
you.
what you got? That was my little rant topic.
Okay, to tie all of this, what we've been talking about together, minus the energy thing, you talk about more quick game, more like middle of the field kind of stuff from the offense, which the way defense is played, there's a lot of coverages where they're dropping a lot of defensive backs back, and their defenses are stacking the line of scrimmage, so the middle of the field is more vulnerable. Quick game, middle of the field stuff should capitalize on that with this Brian Callahan offense. We talk about the better protection on paper, the mastery of the offense, the less pre-snap mistakes, less penalties, more no-huddle, more tempo. All these areas start to improve. It's asking a lot, I know, but these are issues that can be resolved with the quarterback and the offensive line mostly. That is the path for this team turning things around on offense. That was just, I wanted to tie that all together.
Okay.
A lot of things
That was a summary.
we've talked about over the last couple of weeks, just kind of put a bow on it. I wanted to ask you about Jalen Duncan because
Woo!
you brought him up to me in a text message earlier this week, but then I just heard Ramon on 3HL.
I know. Well,
Jalen
I've been
Duncan.
next to Ramon during the 1v1 pass rushes.
Yeah.
Watching those unfold, and I turned to him, and we look at each other, and we're like, Jalen Duncan looks pretty good.
We're taking a trip to the Duncan patch.
Yeah, I mean, you could go to the Duncan patch. America runs on Duncan.
Yeah, I like that one.
America runs on Duncan. I mean, Ojukwu Mania had a nice little day on Tuesday. Wednesday was not so much. But Duncan has put together 2 good days. But Brennan Crenshaw Dixon has put together 2 good days. And Jalen Duncan's days don't just stop at the 1v1 pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
It carries over to the 11-on-11s. He is a steady, stable force at the left side of this offensive line at tackle. And I'm thinking, that's the guy that's the guy that Duke Manyweather said if with the right coaching, he could be the best offensive line in this class. Duke Manyweather, who does O-line mastermind, said that. Daniel Jeremiah concurred. And I've been harping on this. I'm like, man, I just can't believe that they got this so wrong, and now you're seeing it. Now, will Jalen Duncan, who was a 6th-round pick, ever be a starting left tackle? Probably not, unless Dan Moore goes down with injury.
Golly.
But this is a guy that we have essentially been waiting on for 2 years.
Yeah.
We had to give up on him. He got injured. You're kind of like, he's kind of was like left for dead in the big realm of things. And I like seeing guys like that bounce back. Because for all of Traylon Burks' faults, and there were many of them, a guy to keep coming back and keep having to overcome new things says a lot about his football character.
Absolutely.
And what Jalen Duncan has gone through from being a 6th-round pick, from being blasted constantly, not a solution at left tackle with Vrabel, not a solution at right tackle with Vrabel, not a solution last year at right tackle because he just couldn't stay healthy.
Yep.
And we know that this staff saw something, this current staff saw something in Jalen Duncan. If he hadn't gotten injured, he may have been your right tackle the rest of the way.
Yeah,
and for better or for worse.
Yeah.
But they saw something in him, and now they're seeing that come to fruit. Bear fruit?
Come to fruition.
Come to fruition.
Come to fruit.
Come to fruit. Come to fruit. I'm not a professional talker or anything.
Oh.
Come to fruit. And oh man, that's got other images in my head now. But either way, and again, you turn around and look at Brandon Crenshaw Dixon, who is taking to the coaching that he is receiving, and he made Femi look like a undrafted free agent. He looked like the second rounder.
So I would also mention, before the thought leaves my head, we've talked a lot about this, about J.C. Latham switching back to right tackle. Jalen Duncan played left tackle in college, and they were trotting him out at right tackle.
And by the way, he had no coaching in college.
I was about to say, now for whatever that means at Maryland, I remember watching him at the Senior Bowl, and I was close enough to the field because I was accidentally sitting with the NFL personnel people that year. I was close enough that I could hear them talk. I couldn't make out what they were saying, but he was a guy that was getting individualized coaching after almost every rep. And so you start to realize, like, this guy looks the part. He can move. He's big, but he's got a long way to go with the footwork, the hand usage, all that stuff they were working on with him. And so he's a 6th-round pick, developmental guy that has the traits and has the size. If you think about it, if we didn't have those expectations on him because the tackle situation was so bad that they needed bodies, they needed somebody to step up, and he just wasn't ready to step up. If any other year where, like, they just take a tackle in the 6th round to be a developmental guy, right now he's probably at where you would want him to be 2 years into his career anyway.
He looks so good that I was desperately looking for him to try to get a one-on-one interview with him yesterday.
Yeah.
After practice, knowing that those clips are going to only be something that me and you enjoy.
Well, let's see if we can get him on the couch.
But then, to hear Ramon say, he was asked who are some of the whose stock is way up or whatever they asked him.
Winners
from camp. That's what it was. Winners from camp. And for him to say those two guys at the very top of mind. Is something, and listen, Mike Verbals-Burner says Duncan looks good, or we have no edge rushers. Well, we have had no edge rushers for the last 2 years, and Duncan's looked like shit. So, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's a win's a win, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have had bad edge rushers for a while now. Nobody that really scares you, and our team has looked like crap in 1v1s for the most part, and 11-on-11s. And this year is the opposite way. I mean, I think that is one thing you can say is that, hey, this offensive line at best is average. If Jalen Duncan had to go in at left tackle, it may not be a massive disaster.
So they need tackle depth anyway. I mean,
right.
For like the emergency situation, but like I felt good about how they approached the interior offensive line this offseason, but the tackle depth was like, man,
so many questions.
Y'all are counting on Blake Hance to be.
Well, he hasn't even been healthy enough to practice this week.
So a guy like Jalen Duncan continuing to develop, and to your point, just like pushing through all this adversity, the injury issues, the being behind in terms of technique and pro readiness. To just plow through that and keep showing up to a point where now we're seeing dividends. It's yielding dividends in camp. I think that's a positive development for the depth of this offensive line.
Absolutely. And
that needs it. It needs positive development.
We were kind of thinking Ojukwu, lock. But now if Brennan Crenshaw Dixon and Jalen Duncan both continued their ascent.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about. We're just talking about in the now, right? Like, this is in the now. We don't know what the future holds for either of these guys, but these are two guys. When you're talking about your starting five, I could see possibly 3 tackles behind those starting 5, and then maybe 2 interior guys.
Are you allowed to say if BCD was on the right side?
He was on the right side. I've already said it, so.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember off the
top. Yeah, it's because Duncan's left, he's right. And again, 2 young guys that keep on ascending, you may be able to get trade stuff out of them. Like, you may be able to get, maybe one of them just turns into your Dennis Kelly, that if someone gets injured, you got someone that's super serviceable.
What other Titans podcast is breaking down the third string tackle depth right now?
This is just going to be what drives Kevin Dyson, off his show.
Kevin Dyson's going to be like, shut the fuck up.
Shut up about Jalen Duncan and Brandon Crenshaw Dixon.
Yeah. John Ajuku.
He's just over there just shaking his head like, what the fuck have I done with my life? I have doctorates.
Yeah. Doctor. And I'm with these two. Oh, man, I can't wait.
Why did we get on this? What were you talking about?
One of my notes just says Jalen Duncan.
Oh, yeah. Okay. There you go. There's your Jalen Duncan.
Jalen Duncan. I wanted to ask you, this is just shameless plug because I did a film piece, 15 plays of Draymond Jones, and wrote a lot about him. Really, really excited about him, his addition to the Titans defense, because I think he is kind of like, from a utility standpoint, it's like Diet Danico Autry. And I think sometimes we lose sight of how important the things that Danico Autry did for this defense were for the defense. And we didn't have that after Danico Autry. So I think Draymond Jones is a guy that is not a sack guy. I think if people are getting excited about, oh, well, he's going to be the dark horse edge rusher.
Well, if the Tennessee Titans have a double-digit sacker, I'd be so surprised. Even if it's Jeffrey Simmons, I'd be very surprised.
I think he's a 5-sack guy at best, run defending, force multiplier.
If that doesn't get you hot and bothered, Titans fans, what will?
You watch the tape.
You're dead inside.
But so I did a film study of him. It'll be up on Stacking the Inbox in the morning. Wrote about him and what he does well. And I was just curious if you had any eyes on him at all this week, because I haven't heard a lot of people talking about him.
Yeah, it's kind of like Dan Moore, because I see someone else bringing up Dan Moore in the chat. Like, is there some like secret pack that nobody's talking about? If you don't hear about them one way or the other, then they're just doing their job. That's kind of how it is with media. Like, Dan Moore has been Dan Moore has been who you thought he was, right? Like, he's a guy that has some good plays. He has some bad plays. No great plays. No terrible plays so far, but good or bad, up and down. Draymond Jones sometimes affects the rusher. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he's making a play on a run game. Sometimes he's not. It hasn't been anything exciting to write home about for either of these guys, but they've both done their job. If you want to hear more from Dan Moore, you need to go to the 104.5 The Zone YouTube page. I'm sure they got the Dan Moore clip probably now separated, but if not, it's on Ramon and Will from this morning. Great insight from Dan Moore into Bill Callahan, into what he's learned. He's even talking about stuff like, I've never even thought about if someone's grabbing my hands, instead of trying to go outside like this, like wax on, wax off, why not just go inside like this? Flip, for those that are on the YouTube, flipping my thumbs on the inside and moving that arm away.
Yeah.
He's like, I've never been coached that. I've never thought about it that way. And that's stuff you get from Bill Callahan that you may not get elsewhere, but you got to be open to taking the coaching and open to applying it. So just because if you don't hear about Dan Moore, that's a good thing, in my opinion. Draymond Jones, you probably want to hear a little bit more from, but I do think that maybe we'll get more momentum the more that this defense gets to another offense. Because right now, this defense is kind of doing stuff. I guess I would put it, and this is kind of how Nick Holtz and Greg Cosell put it. They're doing stuff. They're being fed the plays on some occasions, or being fed the game plan on some occasions for what's going on with Cam Ward. So how much can we really judge some of this stuff? Because they're intentionally trying to make it hard on Cam Ward. And so at the end of the day, I think the reason we're not hearing a lot about Draymond Jones is because there's not a lot to say right now, because we're not really measuring pressures out there. And to be honest, everybody's got their eyes on Cam Ward and 11-on-11s. Even me, I find myself drifting my eyes to Cam Ward when I'm trying to watch the offensive line or the wide receivers. I'm watching him, and that's kind of also plays in all this.
It's the nature of the beast when you've got a rookie quarterback that's supposed to be the savior of the franchise. So what I'm gathering is that if Dan Moore Jr. had a one-on-one rep against Draymond Jones, it didn't actually happen.
What was that?
I was trying to make a joke.
No, go ahead. I was listening. I was reading the chat.
If Dan Moore Jr. and Draymond Jones had a one-on-one rep against each other, it didn't actually happen.
That would be true. Because it did happen with
like
Arden Key, because Arden Key just bowled right through him.
I heard about that.
Yeah, but again, from the player's perspective, I'm being told that happens because they're not expecting it. That's something Arden Key never does in a game.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing it now because they're trying to set the tone.
Yeah.
And because the defense had lost every other rep until they got to that one. So they just were like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to do something he's totally not expecting.
Yeah.
Because I've never done it in my life, a successful bull rush.
Who are some of your camp surprises?
Well,
so far?
I mean, to be honest, they were all the Ramon ones. But I think Chimere DK deserves recognition. I mentioned it earlier. Oh, Kevin Winston. Oh, yeah. I mean, by far. My God, he plays. There are times where you're like, Kevin Winston, please don't murder someone.
I love
that. Because he's flying at 100 miles an hour and running into someone that is just kind of like jogging with the ball. They're like, oh, the play may be over, but here comes Kevin Winston. Let me murder you.
Yeah. Kevin Winston's like that bird that like dive bombs your car when you're driving on the road.
Yeah. So. He's definitely the guy that would run into a glass plate window or door and not realize it shatter, and he's bleeding. He'd be like, I'm fine. And just keep on walking.
He's the Terminator.
Yeah. He is awesome. Chimere DK, though, I think deserves some recognition because he is starting getting into that Tyler Lockett Group 1 rotation in 11 on 11s where he's like, if they have a play specifically for Chimere DK, it's not anymore. They're saving those plays when Alec Iamaner and Bryce Oliver get out there, the other wide receiver twos or the second string guys. He's now going in with Calvin Ridley and Van Jefferson.
Ooh, I love it. I love
and
that.
He has a real knack for finding the soft spot in the zone at the right time. Right place, right time. I've been thoroughly impressed with that aspect of his game because you could easily pigeonhole him as the deep guy, speed guy, gadget guy only.
Sure.
And there is a little bit of nuance to his game that is showing up since the pads come on. So I would have to put him, besides Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon, Jalen Duncan, and the bigger name guys, like Calvin Ridley is always going to be Calvin Ridley. J.C. Latham is a fucking monster. Peter Skoronski is so much more improved. Looks like a different Peter Skoronski than you've ever seen before.
What about, so Ramon also mentioned Gabe Jeudy-Lally, and I that's an area of the roster that I'm kind of concerned about. I think they could use one of these young guys to step up and become a contributor. You echo that sentiment that he's been impressive this week?
Yeah, I have to say. I look at this. It was Justin Mello was in a chat this morning, and he says, "Oh, the Tennessee Titans should trade for Jacorian Bennett." And I'm not one to poo-poo trade ideas for the most part.
Jacorian Bennett's a good player.
Yeah, but the Tennessee Titans have players I think that are better than him right now.
Okay.
I think first off, Daryl Baker Jr.
Well, hang on. Let me backtrack that.
Okay.
I haven't watched a down of Jacorian Bennett since I watched his tape for the draft.
Well,
so.
I've watched a few Raiders games here and there. He has done nothing to really stand out, and if you want to get into EPA and PFF coverage data and all that kind of stuff, he kind of sucks. But I look at a guy like Daryl Baker Jr. I look at Roger McCreary, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., they have all taken a step leap forward.
That rips.
I think that Gabe Jeudy-Lally has really started coming into his own as well. Like, we call L'Jarius Sneed the Jenga piece kind of universally. And, on last time you were on Cover 2, we talked about Cody Barton being a sneaky Jenga piece.
Yeah.
The way I've seen the coverage play this last few weeks, I'm not saying they don't need L'Jarius Sneed. Don't get me wrong. This team is better with L'Jarius Sneed than without. Cody Barton's the undisputed Jenga piece of this defense.
Ooh, that's a little spicy gorilla nut to chew on.
Yeah. Chew on that gorilla nut. Stick that in your beef and cheddar.
Were there any other defensive backs that caught your eye?
No, Jamari Harris has disappeared.
I think we've listed all of the defensive
Marcus
backs.
Harris is the only one. He's looked really good at times, and he's played a little bit outside.
That's surprising.
Jamari Harris has disappeared with the pads coming on, and that's kind of disappointing.
Well,
there's certain people that we have done this show with that were really riding up and hooting and hollering and hyping up Jamari Harris, and it does not look good.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Easton.
I was hopeful that one of these guys would step up.
Marcus Harris has looked really good. Gabe Jeudy-Lally and Marcus Harris right now would say are your guys that are making the roster outside of Darrell Baker Jr., Roger McCreary. And
so if Snead's out, your outside starting guys would be Baker and Brownlee.
Yeah.
Would Harris and Jeudy-Lally be the twos at that point?
Yes, I would say they could play because Jeudy-Lally was playing nickel, not just outside, but playing nickel, and because he got a couple of blitzes. Your nickel blitzes are maybe coming back.
They're gonna dial up those this year. I feel like.
Well, they have to because they don't have any pass rushers.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Sack leader Gabe Jeudy-Lally. Let's put the bets in.
It's gonna be Draymond Jones and Gabe Jeudy-Lally leading the team in sacks.
I can't read whatever that says, Jackson.
Oh, Jackson's here. Jay Wills.
Jay Wills is here.
He's wearing his media.
He's got some Post-it note, and he's got his fingers over it, but he's drawn something.
All I see are his fingers.
Yeah, I can only see.
Is that a piece of toilet paper?
It was just a penis.
Well, let's be honest. A penis drawn on a Post-it note.
Yeah, that was not your penis.
Yeah, that's not your penis.
Against the window.
Pressed up against the window.
Gentlemen, we have our first touchdown of the NFL season. Any guesses who it was from?
Omari and Hampton.
No.
Wait a minute, which team?
Chargers.
Okay.
Hassan Haskins.
No, it was a tight end.
I don't know any Chargers tight ends.
I don't either off the top of my head.
If I give you his initials,
maybe
WD.
Oh, Willie.
It's close to Walt Disney, actually.
Yeah, Will Disley.
Yes.
Yeah. There we
the
go.
Lions fumbled the opening kick return. So
who was the kick return fumbler?
It's a good question. Something Stewart.
No, well.
So he's
not a very good steward.
He's not a very good steward of the ball.
He will probably be cut.
Yeah.
Trey Lance to Will Disley. Chargers scored. There you go.
How about that? Football's back, man.
Football's back when you got Trey Lance to Will Disley.
Yeah.
They also got a great shot of Jim Harbaugh hyping him up, doing the pad punches and whatnot.
Trey Lance.
Okay, I think we just hit an hour.
Did we?
Maybe an hour and 4 minutes. Okay, so what else you got? Let's
see. Well, I'll go rapid fire, and you tell me what you actually want to talk about.
Yeah, let's go rapid fire and save your defensive question for last. How about that?
Did I have a defensive question?
The Vic Fangio thing?
Well, I wanted to know more about it. I was just doing that.
Oh,
for fun.
that was just for us.
But it is on my paper though. Actually, hang on. Let's see here. Are you concerned that Cam Ward is a bust because he called the offense mid so far?
No. Actually, I think that means that he's a future Hall of Famer because he's using the right terminology.
And okay, we did get to camp surprises. Is it time to go over the edge on Chig? Those are the last two things I had.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. And then I do have a lot of notes. I do have a few notes on Vic Fangio's defense.
I do think I'm ready to be hurt again.
I think I am too. And it's the maturity thing that you mentioned earlier, is that a lot of these guys that have been here for a while, they've suffered through these losing seasons, and now they're kind of at a point where it just seems like we have to earn that right. And they're very locked in, it seems, the way they're discussing things in these interviews.
Was Stewart spelled Stuard?
Yes.
I think that is a linebacker. That's Grant Stewart, right?
I don't know.
That's who it was, actually.
It was Grant Stewart? Isn't he a linebacker?
Hair. Yeah, I think it said he was a linebacker. They put a graphic of him up on the screen.
Dumbass. Okay, go ahead.
I don't remember.
Oh, well, we were talking about Chig.
Yeah, just like the maturity aspect of it. And I go back to something we've been kind of mentioning here and there the past couple of weeks is like, if you don't have to have your tight end constantly in helping the tackles chip and block, and then, limiting their routes to I got to go chip on this guy, and then I'm just going to go out into the flat and be the safety valve. If you can actually get some juice out of a guy like Chig that has that yak ability, that is dynamic in the open field with the ball in his hands, another area where it could unlock the offense. And I don't know, man. I'm just thinking could it finally be the year?
I think you're going to see that it is finally the year because
fucking love that.
Again, we're talking about Jalen Duncan and Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon when we're watching these run-blocking plays where the defense knows you are running it. Like they are practicing run play after run play after run play. First off, this run game is going to be pretty legit.
Yeah.
Because the blocking is good. But Chig, oh boy, has he improved his blocking massively. And I even asked him about it. I got a little one-on-one time with him to ask him about his blocking. Yeah, I haven't really done anything differently. And I'm like, you bastard, you can't give me anything more than that. Here I am. Man, you were really awesome blocking, pass blocking and run blocking. And Blaine was making fun of me. He's like, you're talking to tight ends about blocking? He's like, nobody cares about tight ends blocking. I go, but I do. And it's something that we have just bashed him for 3 fucking years. And now he's cracking guys in the hole, just like fucking sending them flying, and we can't get excited about that.
We're talking about the fourth and fifth offensive tackle. We're talking about the edge setting run defender.
Just give me a break.
We're talking about tight ends blocking. Kevin Dyson's going to whoop our asses.
Yeah. He's looked so good at it, though, and he looks like in the best shape of his life. This BMI body composition thing that they are doing.
Yeah.
Like, sign me up for it. I mean, my God, it works.
Yeah.
These guys are hot as fuck.
Give us the super soldier serum.
Yeah, whatever they're doing, whatever Zach Woodford's cooking over there, let's fucking get some for the America. It's better than Ozempic.
Give it to us. Take us out to the parking lot.
Let's fucking roll.
Ron Slay can come there with a cigar, too. We'll do the show, and we'll fucking flip cars over with our bare hands.
Let's fucking do it. I mean, these guys are jacked.
Yeah.
It must be Chad Brinker's blood.
It is, yeah.
I bet they're just
like a ritual
he's like their blood
sacrifice.
boy or something.
They come through the door, and he's just got a knife and just slices his hand like you have to drink a drip from.
Because, he's jacked. He could be an edge rusher.
Brink Lesnar.
Yeah.
Brink Lesnar.
But yeah, I think it's okay to be excited about Chig, and I'm not worried about Cam Ward. And I think people view that as a double standard because here's the thing. Here's the thing, people. I was never worried about Will Levis. I already knew he was going to be a bust. So then what he did did not surprise me.
Hashtag never Levis.
Yeah. So I was never concerned. But I'm also not concerned about Cam Ward because I think he has the right makeup and mentality that he's going to be able to learn from the mistakes that he's making. They're intentionally making it hard on him, is what Nick Holt said. It's what Greg Cosell said. It's what Cam Ward has said.
To me, it's a sign of faith in the quarterback
that he can handle it.
That he can handle it. They're comfortable with him taking.
They're
these
not
live
destroying
bullets.
anything from him.
Yeah. Like, let's just throw this guy in the deep end and let him sink or swim. Because you know what? Them Denver Broncos ain't no joke.
Yeah.
Them Los Angeles Rams ain't gonna be no joke.
I mean, they're not going to take it easy on you, right?
No.
And they're putting him in a lot of third and long situations. They're putting him in these, silent count situations. They're making him throw over the middle, and, they're trying to teach him and get stuff out of the system. They're really, you could almost make an argument that maybe they need to script up some easy plays to get him in a rhythm before they do this, but I respect what they're trying to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, time's limited. No more two-a-days. Practice time. They got to work with what they got. And my guess is that they just want to prioritize this sort of baptism by fire sort of deal.
And I have no problem with that. So, Cam Ward's not a bust. I know that the people that love Will Levis think he's still good.
There are people that still love Will Levis out there.
I'm sure there are. Maybe it's a bit at this point, but I'm sure there are.
Yeah, there was.
I'd love to go back to all the Kentucky fans. I need to probably do that. Go through
Yeah,
that
make a
time
point.
where I did hashtag never Levis
Mhm.
and go and make sure to like all their tweets, let them know that I have not forgotten them.
It's like that. There's one guy in the Cover 2 chat. I can't remember if it's Ricky or Richie, but the guy that wants to fire Nick Holtz all the
Yeah,
time.
he's Golf Ricky something now. He's
Yeah,
changed
and
his name.
I'm just like, man, that is
He spells
such
his
a-
name wrong too. It's Rickie.
But I don't think it's a bit. I think he really wants to fire Nick Holtz.
Yeah.
But I think it's such a funny bit if
Yeah.
it were to be a bit, because like nobody really knows what Nick Holtz is
Yeah.
responsible for. So it's like he's the guy we should fire.
All right, you ready to close out this show?
Yeah. We got anything in the chat?
We do. This is from Ed Henry. Don't
Shout
look
out
at the
Ed
chat.
Henry.
I'm gonna read it
Okay.
to you.
Okay. I'm sorry. You said chat. I'm just
Which of these would
Instant.
make your nipples the hardest?
okay. All right.
Cam dominates joint practices.
Uh-huh.
Sneed returns and looks great.
Mm.
Jackson Slater pancakes Jeffrey Simmons.
I'm gonna tell you, my breasts are gonna be engorged if Cam dominates these joint practices.
It's gonna be hard not to be walking around with some like diamond
Just
cutters
Big
on your
old milk
chest.
hoggers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a great last episode of Football and Other F Words.
Yeah, that will really get my gorilla nuts going. Tie it all back.
Back to the gorilla nuts, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. Mojo Rojo behind the glass. Do you have any questions or thoughts about the Tennessee Titans?
Just taking it one day at a time.
There you go. Just
There you
one
go.
day at a time.
Quarter mile at a time.
Yep. All right. That will do it for us. I'm going to
is-
go out to practice tomorrow. There's a rumor that we're going to try and get you in on Saturday. I've
I
heard
gotta
floating
work.
around.
I gotta work tomorrow.
But Saturday.
I can't do Saturday.
Oh, you can't do Saturday?
It's Sunday.
Oh, it's Sunday only.
Saturday is my last round of movie podcast recordings.
Oh,
I get those done. I'll have the next, if I'm not mistaken, the next 11 months.
You may have to go to Sunday by yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, without
we'll
me.
figure it out.
Without me. But Easton will probably be there, JT.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That was like a chit. Yeah.
It was a. It
Yeah.
was a. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the one today where he's playing basketball?
No, I haven't.
Oh, that's a
yet.
good one.
Well,
That's a good
best
one.
thing going on the internet.
It is so good.
That and Ricky's hate for Nick Holtz.
Yeah.
Best bits on the internet. Right
I think Do It Lady. We haven't even brought it up on the podcast,
Yeah.
but
Do it, lady.
Do It Lady.
Do it, lady.
He had a banger of a line in this one. It was the one like get him out of here on the get him off of there, get him out from under there when he's the ass end of Pumbaa in the Lion King on Broadway. But today he says something like, yeah, I'm out here. He's out there on like the courts in like some neighborhood, and he's like, yeah, just in case I get space jammed.
So good.
It's so
So
fucking
good.
good. Shit is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, soon. Next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Think about this, guys. We haven't
Man.
even talked about this. Next fucking Saturday is going to be the first preseason game. I'm doing the pregame show with Blaine, then the postgame show with you and Kevin Dyson to kick off the season
It's a lot of work.
for a fucking preseason game.
I can't wait.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it is. I'm stoked, man. I'm just happy to be here.
Just happy to be here.
Yeah.
We're all just happy to be here. Jackson behind the glass.
Did you clock in, Stoney?
Yeah.
I did not, but Joseph taught me how to enter my
hold on.
time.
Shh. I don't know if we're supposed to say that.
Mm,
Okay. Either way, how would you grade the show, Mojo Rojo?
A minus.
I like it. A minus. By the way, I would grade your job as an A plus, Mojo Rojo.
Thank you.
You were. There was the first flawless intro that we've had for Football and Other F Words. No mess ups or hiccups. The mess up and hiccups were on our end this time.
How would you grade Jackson's penis drawing?
Penis drawing.
Penis drawing.
Didn't get to
D+.
see it. We'll have to do it later. What did she say? D plus.
Yeah.
There you go. This has been Football and Other F Words, and you have just been effed.